There is a place on this earth where the past and the future exist side by side, not in conflict, but in perfect harmony. Where a 1,000-year-old temple sits quietly in the shadow of a glowing skyline. Where monks walk the same stone paths they have walked for centuries, just miles from streets that pulse with electric light and endless motion. That place is Japan. From the moment you arrive, something shifts. The air feels different. The pace feels intentional. Every detail, from the curve of a rooftop to the arrangement of a single flower, feels deliberate, considered, and deeply human. Tokyo hits you all at once. Shibuya Crossing swallows you whole as thousands of people move in every direction, a choreography of strangers that somehow never collides. Neon signs tower above narrow alleyways in Shinjuku, casting everything in shades of pink and gold. The city moves fast, breathes loud, and burns bright. Yet even here, tucked between the glass towers and the vending machines, you find stillness. The Sensoji Temple in Asakusa rises through the morning mist, its red lantern glowing like an ember. Incense drifts through the courtyard. Visitors press their palms together and bow their heads. In the middle of the world's most populated metropolis, silence finds you. South of Tokyo, rising above the clouds with impossible grace, stands Mount Fuji. Japan's most iconic silhouette has been painted, photographed, and revered for centuries. At dawn, the mountain catches the first light of the sun and turns a deep shade of rose and amber. Reflected in the still waters of Lake Kawaguchi, it appears twice. Once in the sky and once below. Pilgrims have climbed this mountain for generations, not for the view alone, but for what the climb means. To reach the summit is to touch something ancient, something that reminds you how small and how significant you truly are. Move west, and the rhythm changes entirely. Kyoto does not rush. It invites you to slow down, to look closer, to listen. The Fushimi Inari Shrine stretches endlessly upward through the forest, thousands of vermilion torii gates forming a tunnel that feels almost sacred. Cherry blossoms fall like slow snow over the philosopher's path, each petal catching the light before settling on still water. Geisha move through the cobblestone lanes of Gion at dusk, their footsteps soft, their presence fleeting. Kyoto is not a museum. It is a living, breathing culture that has chosen to remember who it is. Just a short ride from Kyoto, Osaka offers a different energy. Bright, bold, and endlessly alive, it is one of Japan's most exciting cities for food and nightlife. The glowing streets of Dotonbori, the lively markets, and the warm local atmosphere make Osaka feel welcoming from the moment you arrive. It is a city that celebrates taste, conversation, and street culture. A place where visitors can eat well, walk endlessly, and feel the pulse of modern Japan in a completely different way. Not far from Osaka and Kyoto, Nara offers a quieter, more relaxed experience. As Japan's first permanent capital, it is home to ancient temples, peaceful parks, and free-roaming deer that have become one of the city's most beloved symbols. Nara feels gentle and historic at the same time. It is a place where you can slow down, walk through open green spaces, and experience a side of Japan that feels deeply peaceful. In the north, Hokkaido reveals another side of Japan entirely. Known for its wide landscapes, snowy winters, and dramatic seasonal beauty, it is the perfect destination for travelers who love nature and open space. From winter snow scenes to summer flower fields, Hokkaido feels calm, fresh, and far removed from the intensity of the big cities. It reminds visitors that Japan is not just one experience. It is many different worlds in one country. Japan is a country that most travelers think they already know. Tokyo's neon-lit streets, Kyoto's golden temples, and the bullet trains connecting it all. These are the images that fill travel feeds and guidebooks. But beyond those familiar postcards lies a Japan that most visitors never see. A Japan of misty mountain villages, ancient coastal towns, and sacred forests that have stood untouched for centuries. These are the places where the real soul of Japan breathes quietly, waiting for those curious enough to wander off the well-worn path. Most people do not associate Japan with sand dunes, yet the Tottori sand dunes along the Sea of Japan coastline stretch nearly 16 kilometers and rise up to 50 meters high. This is the only large dune system in Japan, and it feels almost surreal standing there with the ocean wind cutting across the sand. Nearby, the Tottori Prefectural Museum and the Sand Museum showcase massive sand sculptures that rival anything you would find in a major art gallery. The region is quiet, uncrowded, and genuinely breathtaking in a way that feels entirely unexpected. Off the southern coast of Kyushu lies Yakushima, a small island that feels like stepping into another world entirely. Ancient cedar trees known as yakusugi, some estimated to be over 7,000 years old, tower above a forest floor blanketed in thick green moss. This island is said to have inspired the legendary animated film Princess Mononoke, and walking through its trails, you can absolutely understand why. The island receives heavy rainfall, which feeds its extraordinary biodiversity. It was designated a United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization World Heritage Site in 1993, yet it remains remarkably free from mass tourism. Kanazawa is often called the Kyoto of the Japan Sea coast, and for good reason. It survived World War II largely intact, preserving its historic geisha districts, samurai neighborhoods, and traditional crafts. Kenroku-en Garden, consistently ranked among Japan's top 3 gardens, offers a meditative landscape of ponds, stone lanterns, and cherry blossoms. The city's Higashi-Chaya district still hosts working tea houses where traditional arts are practiced. Gold leaf craftsmanship, Kutani porcelain, and No theater are all deeply embedded in Kanazawa's cultural identity. Yet despite all of this, the city sees a fraction of the visitors that flood Kyoto each year. Nestled deep in the Japanese Alps, Shirakawa-go feels frozen in another era. The Gasho Zukuri farmhouses, built with steeply pitched thatched roofs designed to shed heavy mountain snow, stand like quiet monuments to rural life. Morning mist rolls through the valley, softening the edges of everything. Smoke drifts from wooden beams. The village breathes slowly, deliberately, as if time itself agreed to slow down here. Further south, Aya Valley carves itself into the mountains of Shikoku. Vine bridges stretch across deep river gorges, swaying gently above rushing water hundreds of meters below. The forest here is dense and ancient. Waterfalls disappear into green shadows. This is the Japan of old folk tales where warriors once hid from the world, and where the landscape still holds that feeling of sacred isolation. On the island of Kyushu, Beppu rises from the earth in clouds of sulfuric steam. The city sits above one of the most geothermally active zones on the planet. Boiling mud pools bubble in vivid shades of cobalt blue and blood red. The air smells of minerals and heat. Walking through the famous Jigoku, meaning hells, feels less like tourism and more like witnessing the raw, unfiltered power of the earth itself. And then there is Aogashima, a volcanic island rising from the Pacific Ocean, home to fewer than 200 people. A volcano sits inside another volcano. Clouds gather around its rim like a crown. Reaching it requires a helicopter or a ferry that only runs when weather allows. This is the edge of the map, the kind of place that reminds you how much of the world still remains beautifully, quietly unknown. The moment the Shinkansen bullet train cuts through the Japanese countryside at 300 kilometers per hour, you understand that this country operates on a different frequency. Outside the window, Mount Fuji appears briefly between rice fields and cedar forests, a fleeting reminder that Japan has always balanced the ancient with the extraordinary. The train is silent inside. Passengers sit perfectly still. There is a discipline here, a quiet reverence for shared space that sets the tone for everything that follows. A traditional ryokan greets you with sliding paper doors, tatami floors, and the scent of hinoki wood. Every detail has been considered for centuries. That evening, a private onsen carved into the mountainside fills with mineral-rich water as snow begins to fall. Steam rises against the dark pines. Not far away in Nagano's Jigokudani Valley, Japanese macaques, the famous snow monkeys, sit submerged in natural hot springs, their faces calm, their eyes half closed. It is one of the most quietly surreal sights on Earth. Back in the city, a capsule hotel offers something entirely different, a futuristic efficiency where every centimeter serves a purpose. And in a wooden tea room, a tea ceremony unfolds with the slowness of ritual, each movement deliberate, each gesture a form of respect passed down through generations. Japanese cuisine is not a single thing. It is a philosophy. A bowl of tonkotsu ramen arrives at a counter restaurant, broth simmered for 18 hours, noodles pulled fresh that morning. Wagyu beef, marbled like a painting, melts before it is even chewed. Tempura, battered in ice-cold water and fried for seconds, arrives translucent and impossibly light. At the Tsukiji Outer Market and Nishiki Market in Kyoto, vendors have been selling the same ingredients for generations. Grilled skewers of yakitori smoke over charcoal. Tamagoyaki, the layered sweet omelet, is folded with the patience of origami. In family-run izakayas, the chef knows every regular by name. The food is never rushed. It is never careless. Every plate carries the fingerprints of someone who cared deeply. Japan does not choose between its past and its future. It holds both simultaneously. Neon-lit streets exist beside moss-covered shrines. Vending machines stand outside thousand-year-old temples. The craftsmanship, the attention to detail, the deep respect embedded in every interaction, these are not tourist performances. They are simply how life is lived here. Leave Japan, and you carry something with you, a standard, a stillness, a sense that beauty is worth the effort. And if you enjoyed exploring with us, subscribe to Travel Infinity, where every week we uncover another extraordinary destination from around the world. Until next time,